Good evening, sports fans, and welcome to the All Balls Sports Show. Brought to you in part by True Love's Pizza and Grits at 1144 Riverside Drive. A discussion of any and all sports, local, regional, and national. And now, here are your hosts, Dan James, Eddie Bobo, Ty Cobb, and the coach, Vance Ballou.
And thank you, Bill Jones. Welcome into the All the Balls Sports Show for brand new year, guys, 2018. Happy New Year to everybody. Hope everybody had a good holiday season. We're back to doing what we like to do.
Eat your black-eyed peas and hog jaw.
Well, I had black-eyed peas. But,
Did you eat any turnip greens?
No. Well, good for all of y'all. then 2018 is going to suck for me, as I can tell already.
No, you just be the same as you was this year.
Yeah, thank you very much. Check your microphone, make sure it's turned on. I'm not hearing.
Yeah, it's on.
Oh, okay, all right.
You're not hearing it?
Yeah, I'm hearing something. Just not like I like it.
Not like you like it.
Not like I like it.
All right.
So I'm going to be playing with your knobs over here.
Okay.
All right, let's get into the national championship last night. We sat here. Well, Chip sat here most of the night with us and watched the game, and of course Alabama victorious. After I told Mikey, what did I tell him? He said it was over.
Yeah.
And I said it's not over.
Yeah. But he was right in the end. It was over.
Well, yeah, it was, but yeah.
But you know, I think the big disappointment of the whole thing was when the camera went to Donald Trump trying to sing the national anthem and he didn't know the words. Yeah.
Yeah, that went on social media real quick when he tried to do that, and it failed miserably.
Well, you know, all it mentioned on Yahoo this morning was Trump sings at the national championship game.
I didn't see it.
Poor excuse for singing.
Exactly.
Hey, at least he showed up.
Well, that's true.
So,
Yeah,
That's true.
you know, he came down and talked to the farmers in Nashville and went on down to Atlanta and caused everybody to be late getting into the ball game.
Or just the farmers' representatives?
No, it was the actual Farm Bureau National Convention.
Okay.
So it was actual farmers.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a real
And
guy.
there was a lot of insurance executives, I'm sure, there, too.
Well, sure. And then the ones who rode with him on Air Force One from Washington.
Oh, yeah.
Well, why did they have to bring all of our bunch back?
Yeah, they could have left him up there as far as I'm concerned.
That's what
I mean, hey, you know, my sports show, I'll say what I want. That's
Till the KGB shows up at your door.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time. College football playoff national championship delivers more than 28.4 million viewers. Now, the skinny on all this was that nobody was going to watch the game because of an SEC,
All SEC championship.
all SEC, but
Right.
28.4, which is the second largest viewing audience on cable or an ESPN show, which is pretty good. So it was up 13%
From the year
over
before.
last year. Yeah.
Okay.
Second most watched cable presentation ever. So that's not bad. That's not bad.
Did they ever say what the average ticket price was for that game?
No.
I never
No.
did hear it either. So I'm sure it was high.
Well, I'm sure it's very high.
Yeah.
I mean, after all, they got to pay off the Mercedes Dome or whatever that thing
What
is down there.
Was it Taco Bell that paid for 500 tickets for each school?
Yeah,
Yeah.
student
Student
section.
section.
Yeah.
You know.
To sit in the Taco Bell student section
Yeah.
that they showed numerous times.
Hey, that could be a sponsor for you,
Yeah.
Taco Bell.
There you go.
Taco Bell.
There you
That's
go.
right. Missy Todd has joined us. She is the cheerleading coach for the CHS football cheerleaders. Now, there's two sets of cheerleaders
Right.
at Columbia Central. There's the football cheerleaders, which compete on a regular basis, and then there's the basketball cheerleaders under the coaching of Jennifer Creech.
Okay.
These ladies and gentlemen here are going to the Nationals in Orlando, Florida. So you guys are going to sit here and tell us how you ended up doing that, and then we're going to explain we're going to explain how Will Anderson is involved. Because Will, everybody knows, number 5, number 52 for Columbia Central High football, one of the best players on the team, without a doubt, hands down. We've talked to him all throughout the season at True Love's Pizza and Grits, which, by the way, is our sponsor, as you can see. But why he's sitting here with a group of cheerleaders and the cheerleading coach? There's a reason for that.
Well, he's a cheerleader now.
See, you spoiled it, man. There you go. You spoiled the whole thing.
Hey, word of advice, going to Orlando, don't touch the mouse.
Yeah, we have a friend. We had a friend that laid hands on the mouse, and security dragged him over to a building off of Main Street and explained to him you don't lay hands on the mouse for any reason. And after about an hour and a half of interrogation and strong lights in his face, they finally let him go. But anyway, yeah. Okay. But that's another story for another time. Okay, Missy, tell us. You first of all, you took over the program back last April?
End of February,
Yeah.
1st March, right before tryouts.
Yeah.
Yeah, right before tryouts. First, let me start by introducing my crew here tonight. To my right is Julianne Holcomb. She's one of our junior members of our squad. Adasia Ferguson. She is one of our 4-year senior members.
Cameras all over here, ladies, so y'all can wave to mom. Wave. There you go.
One of our 4-year
Okay.
members of our squad, and then of course, we talked about Will Anderson.
Yeah.
This squad has always been kind of deemed at Central High School as the competition squad.
Mm-hmm.
And so after we had tryouts this past year, we sat down and talked about what we wanted to do for this year with a new coach and all. And this group set a very lofty goal for themselves. Their goal was to make it to nationals. It will be the first time that a co-ed squad has been to nationals for Central High School. I think there was a squad that went about 16 years ago for Central High School, an all-girl squad. So they sat down and they talked about it, and so we decided what are we going to have to do to get there. So they began their practice season immediately following tryouts in March, right after we came back from spring break, and they practiced all summer. Not only did they practice for their competition routine, they learned that routine in July. And they started practicing that in July and all the way through. They also, as you know, cheered sidelines on Friday nights. They had 3 pep rallies this year. They made run-through signs, attended all the football functions and things that we had to do. So they kind of double dipped there. But we started our competition season in October. Yes. We started our competition season in October with the Middle Tennessee Cheer Classic at Blackman. We finished second at that competition. At that competition, we're a small co-ed squad, which means that we can have up to 20 members and we can have up to 4 boys. Most squads that we compete against max out their boys on the squad. We only have 1, and that was Tyler Henske. And so we started that competition. We competed at that competition. They put all of the co-ed squads together, so we competed against squads that had up to 6 boys, and we only had our 1, and so we finished second there, and we were very proud of that accomplishment. So we came back from that, started adding some more difficulty to our routine. We were headed to regionals in Brentwood, and on the day before regionals, we were having a showcase at Premier Athletics here in Columbia, and 30 minutes before the showcase started, we dislocated Julie's finger. So we had to rework.
Wait a minute. Whoa. Back up. What is this we dislocated Julie's finger?
It happened within the pyramid some way.
I have no idea.
She has no idea. I just know that she put her person down and walked over to me and held her hand out, and this finger was sticking out over here.
Hey.
So we took her to the emergency room, met her parents, and then we worked on redoing the routine and got through. That was not our best performance at regionals. We finished second there behind Blackman High School, which are the current reigning national champions. So we finished second behind them. So then we move on. We came back, regrouped. worked a little more on difficulty. And our next stop was the TWSAA State Championship in Murfreesboro. And we placed second there, again behind Blackman. But that was our best showing with our highest score sheet. And so when we finished that competition, we kind of were at a crossroads. We could either go to kind of finish our season out with a trip to Gatlinburg to compete at the Smoky Mountain Championship, or we could kind of pull all the stops, give it one more try to get a bid to nationals. At this time, we had not received a bid to nationals, and do that. So we chose to give it one more try. We went back to practice, increased our difficulty some more, and we headed to Birmingham. Of course, it's always something. The competition at Birmingham.
Seems with this group, there's always something.
It's always something. The competition at Birmingham, we had it snowed 5 inches in Birmingham on the weekend we were supposed to go there.
Wow.
So fortunately for us, it was kind of one of those southern snows, here today, gone tomorrow. And so we were able to make it to Birmingham. We competed in the small co-ed division. We were divisional champions in our division, and we came away with a bid to nationals.
So that would have been your last stop to get a bid in the nationals.
That was our last stop to get a bid to nationals.
Wow.
So we got a bid to nationals. Of course, we were a little bit behind everybody else making those plans, so we're behind on the fundraising and things like that to get us there. But we got that bid to nationals. After this is how we end up with how we got Will. After the competition was over with, Tyler was complaining that his thumb hurt. The next week, his mom takes him to the doctor, which is our last full week of school, and he has some kind of ligament damage to his thumb, and they put him in a cast for 8 weeks, which takes us all the way up to nationals. So when his mom called me on Wednesday, that night I called Coach Hose, and I said, please do not laugh. I need help. I need the name of 2 boys that you think I might can convince to join our cheerleading squad and go to nationals with us. He gave me 2 names. Will was the first name he gave me. I taught Will in the 7th grade, so I thought I had the best in with him.
Oh, so you had the upper hand on Will Anderson.
Yeah, so I thought I had an in there because I taught him in the 7th grade. So I called Will.
Well, you may or might not have.
May not have, but I asked him if he would be interested. Told him that he could say no.
What kind of dirt she got on you, Will?
Told him he could say no if he wanted to, but he came the next day, Thursday, to practice with us and gave it a try. I'll tell you, he's been a natural at co-ed stunning, and he has stepped right in and has picked it up very quickly and has done a fabulous job. So that's how we ended.
Now, Will, need you to grab Audacious microphone so I can ask you a series of serious questions here, my friend.
All right.
My understanding was the other night when I was talking to Missy was that you had a fear at one point that you were going to break one of these young ladies because you are so strong, and you are. That was basically.
Well, I mean, he throws Grace very high, higher than Grace has ever been thrown. He doesn't like for them to fall.
But I mean, this is a serious thing when you're going into a national competition, and you're obviously have been practicing football for the last 40 forevers up through your senior year this year. So now you're switching gears into something that is totally new territory for you.
Yes, sir. I wouldn't necessarily say I have a fear of breaking them. I have more of a fear of dropping them and them breaking on the way down. I have no problem trying to get them up in the air. It's just catching them safely, making sure they get to the ground safely. That makes me nervous. So
remember, no spiking.
yeah. But it's very different. Yeah, I love that it's a team sport. I like being a part of teams. And also I love how supportive they have been of me. They make it super easy for me. I just came in and I thought, honestly, I was nervous because I've never done it before. Sure. And they had Tyler, who's been doing it for a while, and they had everything down. They were going nationals, and everything was going smoothly. And I thought me coming would maybe, freak them out, like, oh, we got someone who's never done it before. This is going to be awful. But no, they hit it just head on and just said, we're going to teach you. You're going to do it. And they have supported me every step of the way, and I couldn't ask for a better team.
Did it bother you that Miss Todd said it's only 2.5 minutes?
Oh, no, because no, it didn't bother me whatsoever, because I know it's tough, because you got people being thrown up in the air, and then you put them down, you might be flipping and tumbling all over the place. It's crazy to be longer than 2.5 minutes. Like, it's absolutely crazy. I give so much respect to them to be able to, do all the things they do.
I give so much respect to a cheerleading squad to stand out there and do what you guys do. I mean, really, because I've been out there with you on pep rally days. Now, those are tough days. I'm going to tell you right. If you guys think it's tough being a cheerleader, try being the host of that thing. It's tough. It's tough because I'm trying to wrestle 1,300 kids, into a 45-minute session here, and it's really hard to do. And I couldn't do it without Missy, because she put the whole thing together for these 3 that we did. And I appreciate what you did for that, because you had it down to where it was almost 1 minute left until we're supposed to dismiss for buses. And that's one of the great things about what you helped do, besides coach these ladies and this gentleman here. But to watch you during a football game is absolutely incredible. And that's the reason I like to give shout outs to you guys when I can. But that's something I don't think people understand how much effort you guys put into that, and how many routines you work on. Oh, you need to give your daughter Jada. You need to give your daughter Jada some credit too on this, because she does a fantastic job. Cheers for UNA.
Yes.
And it comes back and helps you, and
Yes.
you guys put together these the big things they run through that you guys used to run through.
Mm-hmm.
These ladies put together over at the park,
Yeah.
painting them.
Yeah, they painted. It's been a Saturday,
Yeah.
getting all their run through signs.
As a matter of
together.
fact, I think it was Shaq Mason's Saturday when he came out to do his football campus when
was.
you guys were over there
We're
doing
painting
that.
signs that day. We
Yeah.
were.
Yeah. So it's incredible. They spend hours to do this kind of stuff. All right. Now we got fundraisers we got to do, because
Yes.
we got our bid to
Nationals
Nationals in Orlando.
in Orlando.
So what are we doing to raise money?
Well, with that trip comes expenses, hotel expenses, traveling expenses. Our biggest expense, I think, that has been is the bus. We have to take a charter bus, and it's a little over $6,000 for our transportation. So to try to raise money for that, we have an online fundraiser through My Team Works, where we're trying to raise money for that bus. We're halfway there. We've got another couple of weeks to go in that fundraiser, but we're halfway there. Coming up this week, Thursday, yes, we have a prom show sneak peek at Lace & Company in Mount Pleasant. On Saturday, we're going to do a dine out for Disney at Buckhead's from 10 to 3, and they're going to give back a portion of that time frame back to the squad. From 1 until, I'm not sure, all of you cornhole people out there, there's a cornhole tournament and we've already had this conversation and laughed about it. There's a cornhole tournament in Mount Pleasant, and they have graciously agreed to give that money raised from the cornhole tournament back to us, and we will split that with Mount Pleasant High School's cheerleaders. They're also going to nationals. They compete in a different division than we do, but they're also going to nationals. So we're excited to have a county partner with us. So we will split that funds with them. We're doing an indoor car wash at 10 Star Automotive on Sunday from 1 to 5 in their indoor wash bay. What else do we have coming up? We have a mini cheer camp on February let me look because I can't remember. February the 3rd, we have a mini cheer camp. And I guess one of our biggest events is on January the 20th. We're doing At Westminster Presbyterian Church, we're doing a indoor yard sale, and we will take any donations, items for the yard sale on January the 15th on Martin Luther King Day. We'll be at Westminster to take any donations for that yard sale. We also have some vendors that are going to set up, so it's kind of a sales event rather than just a yard sale. So those are our biggest things that we have coming up. We're going to sell donuts at school. We're going to do donuts for Disney on Wednesday, starting not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday. And then
what type of donuts? Hey, I'm just asking.
They're not Krispy Kreme donuts. They're
I'm out.
There's a donut.
I'm kidding.
I found them today. We've tried to get. I think Shipley's Donuts has gone out of business.
They have, yeah.
Okay, because I've tried to call them and try to do this locally. There is a donut place in Spring Hill, right off of Port Royal. It's a locally owned business.
Mm-hmm.
They have agreed. I've talked to them, and they have agreed to provide all of our donuts at a very at a discount. For us to do that, so I guess I'll be making a trip to Spring Hill early on Wednesday mornings from here on out to pick up donuts. So those are the things that we've got coming up. So we're hoping that we'll be able to raise enough money for cover all of their expenses, their food, their lodging, their bus trip, their registration, and make this a great experience for them.
And as seniors, this is kind of a nice into the school deal for you guys.
Yeah.
Because you have been working hard for 4 years with the cheerleading.
Yeah, but like at one point we stopped going to competition until she came back, and we went and we succeeded because they thought we couldn't make it.
So how does that make you feel?
Makes me really proud. Like, I can't believe it still. This is the first. My last.
If she says my everything, I'm going to think Barry White.
There's a song in there somewhere.
There's a song in there, Barry White. Thank you very much. Well, you ladies are doing a grand job at what you do. Because I've been around you. I've watched you work. I went out at Premiere back. When it was middle of June or July. I took pictures of you guys.
It was after our choreography camp.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say this. I mean, and I made the comment to Dan several times in the press box, watching you girls do your routines and stuff. The cheerleaders we had back in our day, they'd break their neck trying to do the routines that y'all do. I mean, they were great at what they did, but it was very limited, and so my hat's off to y'all, what y'all do.
The reason my hat is really off to what you do is because you're doing a thankless job on Friday night. I don't care if it's 30 degrees and the wind is blowing 15 miles an hour, and you guys are out there in your windsuits. You're still out there doing it for the team.
Even in the rain.
In the rain. Even in the pouring rain at Page, you're out there and you're doing your routines. And a lot of people, they don't give you the credit you deserve for doing what you do. And I, for one, do give you credit for what you do. Because I think it's a thankless job on Friday night. I mean, there's a lot of thankless jobs on Friday night, but that is the one of the you and the dance team both, because you sit there and you do your routines. Now, I give credit to the band and to the student section because they do back you guys.
Yes.
But the rest of the parents and everybody else out there, sometimes they're just being social with each other and they can care less about what you're doing. But we're up there in the press box. We're watching what you're doing, and we appreciate that. And I know Will now has a good idea after joining this for last 3 weeks or whatever, how hard these ladies work and practice. So I know he has a better understanding of what you guys go through.
Yes, they work hard. They put in a lot of time. They'll tell you that I tell them that their first job is to support the team. regardless what the conditions are. We don't get to choose the conditions under which we cheer because weather dictates that. So there were cold nights, there were rainy nights. But our job is to support the team, and of course the team gave us
Adacia can't get past the rain.
no.
It was so cold. We had a long walk to the bus. Oh my gosh.
They really wanted to go to the bus. I mean, they really wanted to throw in the towel and go, but we didn't.
Couldn't throw in the towel. They needed to wipe off the rain.
No, yes, it was a miserable night. It was a miserable night for everybody.
Well, do either one of you have any? And I'm not going to address this to Will because I know he doesn't have any aspirations of doing this past what he's doing now. I mean, you don't want to cheer past your senior year of high school. Obviously, you want to play football somewhere, right?
Yeah, but I mean, if it somewhat happens, like if something were to happen, I wouldn't mind doing it more.
Yeah, because Bert Hughley was a UT cheerleader for his 4 years up there, and there's not a thing wrong with it.
No, not at all.
And I tell you, Bert used to work out like a madman at the gym, and for a guy his size, he was stout as a bull.
Yes, he was.
You know.
So, either one of you ladies have any aspirations of going and cheering in college?
I think it all depends on where I go to cheer because different colleges have like different expectations, I guess.
Yeah.
Like you have to be. I know for University of Kentucky, you have to be like a flyer to be on their competition co-ed team. So I guess
you have to be a what?
You have to be a flyer and you have to be like weigh so much. And yeah, some of them have really strict limitations.
Oh, so they have the beauty pageant.
Oh yeah, the Twiggies.
Yeah.
I mean, you notice that even at UT.
Yeah.
I mean, the girl cheerleaders are the smallest girls you'll see on campus, and of course the guy cheerleaders are all bulky and all this stuff, and of course they do all the push-ups after the each score, and of course this year they didn't have to do that many, but you know,
man, that's cold.
Well, I mean, I'll call it like I say it, man.
I get you. That's all right.
But you know, and it's amazing watching, you know, their routines on the college level, and I'll be one of the first to admit I've watched a lot of the cheerleader competitions on ESPN and stuff.
Waiting on something else to come on.
No. Turn it on nowhere.
Well, I will tell you something. Cheerleading has grown and changed tremendously throughout the years. This year, when you watch the Olympics, cheerleading will be featured at the Olympics, the Winter Olympics, and the United States representative for the United States team is Kentucky's team.
Wow.
They will represent the United States at the Olympics this year in cheerleading.
Cool.
So it's changing and becoming more popular, and so it will be at the Olympics this year.
And I would remind our viewers that is an SEC team, not a Big 10 or a Big 12 or ACC. It's a SEC team. Just saying. Just throwing it out there. They're always bad mouthing the SEC. Just saying.
Well, Kentucky is the reigning national champions for their division.
Now, where did they compete?
They compete in Orlando also. The college nationals are this weekend, so they start. They'll leave Thursday or Friday, Wednesday or Thursday. They'll head to Orlando for nationals, and Disney just at the Wide World of Sports down there. Yeah. They have just completed a building strictly for these cheerleading competitions.
Really?
They built them their own building, and this will be the first competition for this year for high school and college to compete in the new building.
Cool.
So everyone's excited about that. So
it's taking on a life of its own.
Taking on a life of its own. It has.
Come on in, Ty.
It's Ty Cobb.
I'm just gonna stay back in the chair. Y'all keep on.
I think Adacia has aspirations and would like to pursue this after high school.
Yeah, I was planning on going to UNA to cheer. Since
you think you have an end down there for that? Because when you go to UNA as a freshman next year, Jada will be what?
She's a senior.
She's a senior now.
She'll be finishing up she'll be doing her student teaching.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, you got a legacy pull for that.
Yeah, she agreed to help me with some of the cheers and all the dances.
Oh, for the tryouts. So you'll already have. Oh, wait a minute. So you'll already have an N for that.
A leg up, as they say.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. What do you do? What do you guys do to prepare for a competition? I mean, what kind? Is there anything? I mean, you see the guys in the basketball, you see guys in the football, got the headsets on, and they're listening to whatever they're listening to, Beyonce, Jay-Z, whatever, and they're getting into the zone. What do you girls do and guy do to get in that zone before you compete?
I usually listen to our cheer music and mentally prepare because it's just a big thing for me. I get nervous really easy. I'll just imagine hitting a zero deduction routine, and it just builds my confidence a lot and helps me perform better.
We also pray every time before we go out.
That's always a good thing.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, take it to the big man.
Deja asks for help. Deja gets some help. Oh, that's great. That's great. Will, what do you do?
I don't know yet.
He hasn't been in that position.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I'll just do what I do before games. I don't. They've never seen me like it before yet, but I usually I keep to myself, and I usually just try to, for football, I try to think of what we did during practice, like what plays have we been preparing for, how their guys kind of run it on film, and try to imagine how everything's going to move into place correctly, and sometimes I'll listen to music, sometimes I don't. I kind of just keeping my mind clear and thinking about the job at hand and how it's all supposed to play out.
I got to brag on you because you took a beating during this past season,
Yeah.
and you still played a lot of minutes because they needed you with the 7-4 season actually.
Mm-hmm.
Are you okay now as far as physical goes?
Yes, sir. At the end of the season, I got a contusion on my AC joint in my shoulder, so I couldn't barely lift my arm no higher than right here, and I couldn't do anything for probably a good month. After the football season was over, I wouldn't say depressed, but I was really upset the way things went down and how I couldn't really finish out the way I wanted to, and I couldn't even try to get better now that the season's over because my shoulder was still hurt, and but now I'm doing fine. I can obviously throw people up in the air and catch them, so I'm doing pretty good. I'm working on gaining my strength back. That's one thing that aggravates me still, is because I know how strong I used to be, and it's just I'm working to get back to it and get back to the way I was.
Son, let me tell you, when you get 63, those thoughts come back all the time. How strong I used to be.
And if he had a shoulder injury, I wouldn't know it now. Would
Right.
you?
I mean, does it bother you at all? I mean,
no, not really. The only thing that really bothers me is and it's not their fault. Sometimes when people fall,
yeah.
even for football, I have a problem with stingers, and so if my neck goes a certain way, I'll get a stinger here and there, but it's just something I gotta deal with. But other than that, nothing really. My shoulder feels fine.
I remember you and I talked about that at Trulo's one night.
Mm-hmm.
About the he turned his neck a certain way and it's he just goes out.
Mm-hmm.
Bless your heart.
Yeah,
It's tough. Well, all right. Well, I'm proud for each and every one of you. I'm proud for this entire team going to nationals. That's a big deal.
They worked hard. they've put in the hours. They're still putting in the hours. Can't thank Will enough for helping us out and joining us and being the trooper that he's been. They've beat him to death on some days. But he put in extra hours over the Christmas break. He came in with Grace and Julie, and they put in extra hours over the Christmas break. So that was a big help to get those. But he's picked it up quickly. We'll be interested to see. They've competed several times. They're 2.5 minutes. I don't know how it would feel for my first competition to be a national competition. They've gotten to build up to that.
Yeah, but what about this guy?
That's what I'm saying. Will's going to step. First time he's going to step foot on the mat is at national stage. So it'll be fun. It'll be a fun trip.
I think it would be.
Alabama's quarterback second half. I mean,
Yeah, there we go.
Wow. Yeah.
Been on the bench all year.
When you gonna put me in, Coach? Now.
Well, and also too for Julie, she here in Columbia at Premier Athletics, she competes on their All-Star squad. So she's pulling time on 2 squads.
Okay.
She's competing with them. I think she has a competition this weekend in Chattanooga. So,
but here's the amazing thing on the competition scale with you ladies and gentlemen is there is no next man up. You're it.
Yes.
I mean, you don't have somebody as an alternate coming in.
No.
So that's the
Tyler
whole.
got hurt, and we had to find
Yeah,
plan B.
I know, and he's plan B.
And he's plan B. Yes, it's them. It's all them.
So
There's
Will
nobody.
A is plan B.
Right. Yes. There you go. Yeah. So we, and moving forward, just to kind of tell you the turnaround, we'll finish on the 10th. Will be our final hoorah, and then we'll start tryouts February 26th for the next year. So they'll turn the ones that will be returning won't have much, about 2 weeks of breathing time, and then they'll start again.
Now, your aspirations as a coach sponsor having more guys next year?
Would like to to be competitive. We really need to have at least 20 on the squad in our division, and 4 of those being boys. I'm hoping that with Will, coming from a football background, that he will be a big help, especially with his leadership at school and from the football team, that doing this is something that's, takes on a whole new look and a new interest for some of our male students at school. So, Blackman, they do have football players on their squad, and they work that. As a matter of fact, I saw one of their former alumni cheerleaders from Blackman. I saw a picture on Facebook of him. He won a national championship last night as a football player, and he won a national championship in high school as a cheerleader. So,
yeah.
So he was on their football team. So it can be done. So I'm hoping that it will that they will kind of be the pioneers and kind of change the look of co-ed cheerleading at Columbia Central, and so we'll see.
Hey, we need to send a shout out to number 88, Jackson Harris of Georgia Bulldogs last night. Got a lot of playing time.
Yes.
Got a lot of TV time.
Yes.
Which was nice to see, even though they came up on the short end of the deal. But hey, when you're on the national stage like that, it's a big deal.
Absolutely.
It is a big time thing.
Represents Columbia Central very well.
Yeah, and then Shaq Mason will be playing Saturday against the Tennessee Titans.
That's a hard one.
Which they're 13, as of right now, they're a 13-point underdog to the New England Patriots.
Well, they were an underdog last week.
Although, if we had a passing game with the Tennessee Titans, it wouldn't be that big a deal because the New England Patriots are 30th in pass defense. So there you go. See if they get Decker out there to catch what he's supposed to catch.
Stranger things have happened.
Yeah, they have.
Well, he caught one.
It was an important one, yeah.
1 out of 4. That's
and it was a touchdown.
I know. I know. We'll get into that here shortly when Ty comes in.
But,
Is he on the phone in there?
But back to the national championship game last
Sure.
night after it was over with, and they were interviewing the sophomore quarterback for Alabama, and I have to admire the young man because they asked him how it felt to do all this, and all that stuff, and the first words out of his mouth was, "First and foremost, I give the glory to God."
Mm-hmm.
And I admire.
Well, he did that on every interview.
Yeah.
Even the ones they did for ESPN, and then the ones they did for ABC, and the ones they did for in-house with all that. He did the same thing. He's a very, 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 very bright young man.
Yeah.
And you did see that he stayed engaged in the second half.
Yeah.
He was right there going. And, of course, his dad's high school football coach.
Well, then after they had the ceremony where they got the trophy, they showed him running off of the stage, and he ran over to the sidelines to where his family was.
Yep.
And embraced his dad, And that was a very touching moment also. So, I hated that Georgia came up on the short end of the stick. I was pulling for Georgia, but, you got to give Alabama their dues. I mean, they didn't give up.
Nope.
They didn't quit.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Heading down to Orlando,
We are.
home of the mouse. Remember, don't touch the mouse. Leave the mouse alone.
Bus pulls out 7 o'clock, February 8th.
It'll be Tyler
Wow.
Rice to touch it. I already know who it's gonna be. Yeah, it's gonna be one of those.
Yes.
So how's it going to be for you? I mean, you're going into uncharted territory here now.
Yeah, it's a big difference from last year. We didn't compete at all, and this year it's like nonstop. And I couldn't have asked for anything better.
All right, let me ask you two ladies this. We know how you are, but let me ask you two ladies this. How do you feel about her?
I love her.
Best coach
Literally. I lost all love for cheer last year, and this year I was like, well, I'll try out, and if I make it, I make it. And I have never been more in love with cheer.
Right.
Because of her.
Last year I was like, this is going to be my last year. Hopefully something happens. And then she popped out. I was like, yep, I got to try it again.
Well, Missy, here's my donation.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it very much.
I gave mine last week.
He did. Thank you so much. We do appreciate it.
Chip said checks in the mail.
Thank you very much. I can't say enough about this group as a whole. They really pulled together as a team. They worked hard together as a team. I'm sure they get frustrated with each other and things, but I've not ever seen it as far as, a lot of times cheerleaders get a bad rap about how they get along with each other and that dynamics, but this group hasn't. They've been a pleasure to work with. I can't say enough good things about them. And how well they've represented the school and how they'll continue to represent the school as we travel to nationals. I can't think of a better group to represent Central High School in Murray County.
Well, we want you guys to stick around. Don't go anywhere because
Okay.
we got pizza afterwards.
Oh, okay.
We have pizza and drinks and all that kind of good stuff.
Okay.
And
Hey, they'll always eat, won't you?
well, sure. We're gonna bring Ty. We're gonna bring Ty in here for a few
Okay.
minutes. But Ty Cobb, where are you, bud? He's eating the brownies already. Are you kidding me? Eating Mrs. James's brownies.
Don't say it.
What?
Well,
No,
Coach
I'm
in
saying
here,
that.
he would say it when I arrived. Roll Tide. I've heard it enough today.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, your Roll Tide defensive former coordinator is now rolling into Knoxville.
No, actually, I couldn't believe that game, man. That was pretty
There's
impressive.
two
It just
games
shows
in one.
you that championship teams know how to win, and Alabama knew how to finish. So Georgia played a good game. They just didn't. No
didn't
offense second half.
Saban just outcoached.
Well,
Kirby Smart in that second half.
I think Georgia got a little complacent second half. I think they played not to
Three and out.
I think they were trying to play not to lose,
Yeah.
instead of playing to win.
How are y'all?
Good.
And I tell you, the block punt,
Yeah.
game changer.
Yeah, big
'Cause
time.
I think
big
that
time.
was not offsides.
No, he wasn't offsides.
That
And
was
plus,
a game
the Alabama players moved before the snap. So
True.
So that would have made it a false start,
right,
not a block punt.
not a block punt.
So, anyway, it's a good game.
Well, the officiating for NFL and for college this year has been suspect anyway.
Almost like it is in high school.
And we'll even go back to high school football.
Well, high school, all they got to do is take an open book test.
That's
and
true.
But didn't they say nothing against? Wasn't it the Pac-10 referees officiating?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
Big
Pac-10.
Ten.
Big Ten.
Big Ten.
Big
Okay.
Ten.
Well, you got Pac-10, Big 10, Big 12.
Well, you have two SEC teams. I would think SEC officials would.
No.
I know.
No, you can't have that.
No. Mm-mm. No, what are you thinking, man?
I'm thinking it would have been better than what I saw last night.
What you talking about, man?
Less than 24 hours after Alabama coach Nick Saban orchestrated one of the more remarkable comebacks in college football history by coming back from a 13-point second-half deficit to stun Georgia in the college football playoff national championship, Saban's name is being handed out in the NFL circles today.
That's not
He's
gonna happen.
been there, done that, and didn't do it
I'm
too
just
well.
saying, hey,
Give me a good rumor.
did I
Give
write
me
this?
some.
No, I did not write this. I read this.
Gruden is the coach at Oakland.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming either.
That's
The Oakland Raiders
Official.
held a monster press conference on Tuesday to introduce John Gruden as the newest head coach. Gruden signed a 10-year contract for $100 million.
And I think that's guaranteed.
Yeah, it is. To replace Jack
Plus,
Del Rio as the head man in charge. And it was clear from the wide smiles on the faces of everyone on the stage that this hire is, as Mark Davis would call it, a big effing deal. Just saying.
$100 million.
$100
Well,
million.
plus- deal.
$100 million plus a stake in the team. He's got.
Yeah.
He's going to get.
But,
portion of the team.
Gruden noted there's no guarantee that he's even alive at the end of the contract to see it. So.
But his
Just
wife
saying.
will be.
I guarantee.
I'm surprised you're not at the Predators game tonight.
I actually was going to go to the Tennessee Vanderbilt game. And
Really? Because Tennessee pulls a big upset over Kentucky.
Big win.
Yeah.
Big
Right.
confidence
Yeah.
builder after losing to Arkansas and North Carolina. And I went to the North Carolina game. That one we lost at
Yeah.
the last minute. So, but Tennessee basketball looked
And
good.
Arkansas,
They didn't deserve to beat Auburn.
Well,
but-
Arkansas.
Auburn's
four of our 5 starters fouled out of
Yeah.
the ball game.
We don't have
You
the
know.
depth is not there.
So,
But it's got a good 5 or 6, 7 players. I mean, that are really top notch for Tennessee, and I think Tennessee can go. I think they could make a run in the SEC tournament, but I do think they'll make the NCAA tournament. So
we'll see.
Rick Barnes doing well on Rocky Top.
Well, he's not playing the game. But
No, but neither did Nick Saban.
I think they need. I think
Good
they
point,
need
Eddie.
one more. We need one more big man inside. Tennessee does. They need one more. I think that's what had them. That hurt them against Auburn and Arkansas. But tonight should be a pretty. I'm hoping an easy win for them against Vanderbilt. But it's always good to win a Memorial if you're a volunteer fan. So whether it's the Lady Vols or the men's basketball team.
and I am so glad that Tennessee went back to Lady Balls.
Me too. I don't even think it was it should have been discussed. I mean,
Right.
Lady Vols has always been around. So, what else we got, Dan? Shaq Mason, Tennessee Titans.
Your prediction on the game?
Oh, I think it'll be 48-14, something like that.
Patriots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Brady will pick the Titans apart.
The Titans, I mean this with all due respect, but they probably are the worst team in the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
I hope they prove me wrong,
Yeah.
but
Well, that statement's already been made by some of the analysts. Kansas City blew a 21-3 lead, and one analyst says, to obviously the worst team in the playoffs.
But let me ask you this: Did they? I mean, indicative of the score, yes, they did. But did they not have a little bit of help from some of the referees?
Well,
It went both ways.
there was some questionable calls, but like you said,
which game you talking about?
I'm talking about Kansas City Titans. Triplett, the referee he's retiring after this year because apparently the NFL's had enough of him.
Well, especially when he's trying to give his reasons for why the call was made or whatever. You go into this long narrative of why
He could have did better than
call was
last
made
night.
the way it was made.
Yeah, but last night was at least consistent on both sides.
I disagree.
Well, it was
but
really the officiating in the Titans game was both ways. They missed calls both sides. So, now all you can do is hope it's consistent.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be consistently bad. You just hope it's bad both ways.
Yeah, we've seen it like that.
So, you're always talking to the guy on the sideline. I noticed in one of the bowl games, the official threw a penalty unsportsmanlike on the head football coach. I forget which game.
for Georgia?
No. This was one of the bowl games.
Lesser bowl games.
Oh, I didn't
And,
watch many of them.
Second half, the official that was on that sideline was on the other sideline. We've hoped that a lot of times at Central.
Mm-hmm.
We can get a switch. But normally we
Some
would.
of them probably would just
who
want to
was
get away
it?
from the sideline where the PA announcer's on. I don't know.
Who was it that used to coach Atlanta Falcons?
Jerry Glanville?
Jerry Glanville, yeah.
91, 92.
Yeah, whenever they had him mic'd up for one of the games, and a rookie referee kept making some calls. He said, "Who made that call? Was that rookie again?" He said, "Get him over here." He said, "Hey, buddy, this is the NFL, which stands for not for long. If you keep making calls like that."
Who do y'all think will win this weekend? Titans or Patriots?
Probably the Patriots.
That's what I think. I don't think there's nothing against the Titans. Not many people going to be taking the Titans.
What about Jacksonville?
But it
and
could happen.
Steelers.
I'm not a.
You do realize that Jacksonville is the only team that has beat the Steelers twice in a season at Pittsburgh.
I
Happened
did
back
not.
in 2007. So I don't think they can beat them. They've got a good defense, but they have no offense.
That's what's going to hurt them. Their offense.
No offense. Bortles played back to Bortles
Yeah.
Sunday.
It was terrible. It was a hard game to watch Sunday. And I tell you, the team on the NFC side to watch is the Saints. I believe that they're on a mission. I believe.
I think you're right.
Falcons brought back.
Yeah, well, but I think
the
the
Saints are playing
Saints
well.
just got so many weapons right now.
And Carolina fired their offensive coordinator and quarterback coach today.
Panthers. I did not know that.
Yep. Mike
A lot of
Shula.
change.
Mike Shula was the OC.
And then, of course, Derek Dooley was let go at Dallas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cowboys.
But he's
He's recovered and he's landed where? I forgot.
Somebody's. I can't remember. Can't remember where he's landed at.
Arkansas?
Missouri.
Missouri.
Yes.
Yeah, offensive coordinator at Missouri.
So he'll be returning to Rocky Top.
Yeah.
Good.
He won't wear orange pants.
Because I'm excited to see what's fixing to happen on the hill up there. I mean, here's your defensive coordinator for Alabama, just coming off of a national win, taking over a team that
Is at rock bottom.
well, that has the potential of being
Well,
a Nick Saban type team.
Well, you got to
Well,
look at it
you
this way
said that.
too.
I think they can, but I don't think it's going to happen next year.
No.
You got to look at it this way too.
Yeah.
Ty. I think a lot of those players at UT was fed up with Butch Jones, and they weren't putting forth their best efforts.
And I think that goes all the way back to Jalen Hurd.
You know, I think
Now, he
now
may
the
not
tru-
have he may not have always been wrong as to what he said about Butch and the coaching staff.
Well, remember, Maurice Patton told us
There was more
at
to
this
it.
show
More
there was
to it.
more to it.
Yeah,
That it would eventually
He
come
did
out.
say that. Maurice.
yeah.
That it would
right.
eventually come out.
And it did.
Some call him the gangster of love.
When it
Some
came
people
out,
call
it
him
came
Maurice.
fast, didn't it?
But yeah, it's going. You know, the players did the same thing when Derek Dooley was head coach up there.
Yeah, they gave up.
They just quit playing for him, and you know especially when they're laughing on the sidelines getting beat during a bowl game. You know,
So do you think, talking about that Alabama Georgia game last night, the player for Nick Saban that lost his cool on the
oh,
side,
he should have been kicked off. Team.
I got a feeling today he could have been. I don't know. I mean, I guarantee you that's going to be dealt with.
Especially,
It'll be dealt with.
especially
And
after he went after an assistant coach.
I would have dealt
know.
with it last night. Was you don't get back on this bus, you find a way back to Tuscaloosa, and you turn your stuff in when you get there. Period. End of story. He shouldn't have done that. It's a
It
discipline
really hasn't
thing.
been talked about today, has it?
No,
No, it really hasn't.
no.
I think they've kept that. I think they've kept that in house.
Probably so, but I'm telling you, Saban, if you look back
Yeah.
at his teams, that doesn't happen. He's a very disciplined coach.
Oh, and then you see
they
all
respect him.
You see all the
So-
social media. You know, Georgia had all the class last night. Alabama loses to school. Blah 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 blah. You know, well, in the heat of battle, it's going to happen from time to time, but it can't happen.
They can't.
It can't happen to the extent as what it went.
Right.
It was
Exactly.
out of control last night.
Yeah, he was way out of control.
Very much so.
I don't think Saban was in that area of the sideline though.
No,
was he?
but it was
Yeah.
an assistant coach he
Yeah.
went after.
He was.
You know. And, I don't know which assistant it was.
Well,
but
they only got like 400.
400 sitting over there. Yeah.
I mean, you know that. I'm glad you bring that up, Eddie, because if you look at the staff and assistants, and Alabama has got
oh yeah,
the foundation. I
Right.
mean,
Sure.
right. I mean, you know,
But-
I mean, it's going to get to some point in this nation to where Saban plays every single assistant coach who's now a head coach in his career.
well, you know, when they
I mean,
got rid of Lane
every team will
Kiffin,
have someone that
what's
Saban
the
has
first
worked
thing
for.
He went straight out and hired one right out of the NFL to come.
Well,
Yeah.
you know?
He'd already had him doing analytics for him.
5 national championships in 9 years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
He's
and
done
6 total.
6 total.
it. And might get another one next year.
Well, you know, like I said,
Not
whenever
if the selection committee has anything to do
Oh,
with it.
it will be stacked against him.
well,
It
he'll
was
have to
supposed to have
go.
been stacked against him this year.
He'll have to
He
go
don't care.
undefeated. He'll have to go
gotta
undefeated
play the
next
game.
year
Yeah.
to be into
Yeah.
it. But you know,
He could do that.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, it's very easy
if
to.
he loses one game but wins the SEC
Yeah,
championship, he'll be in.
Just so you know, in the top 25 for next year, UCF, University of Central Florida, who claimed that they're the
They're
number
undefeated.
one. They're undefeated, but they're also ranked number 6 for next year.
I don't like that sound that I'm hearing, but smoke alarm. You
Oh
want me to
no!
go check it?
Yeah, you might want to go check. It's in the other side because the kitchen is right behind where we are here for the other room. Yeah, I got a feeling that Mrs.
True Love's pizzas.
Well, no, it's not spoil. It's just
It's,
it's got the dog freaking out
maybe
over there
extra
too.
crispy.
It could be. You never know.
Handy to have a firefighter, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's nice to have the fire chief as one of your co-hosts on the show. That's not bad at all.
I just
Ladies,
thought my
what do you
ears
got?
were
All right,
ringing.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. What have you guys got coming up for fundraisers this week? This week,
We have the cornhole and
Car wash tickets.
car wash Saturday
okay.
and Sunday. My bad.
Yeah.
And then our lacing company prom dress show.
All right, very good, very good. Well, we're all out of time. It's time to eat. Sounds good to me. So for Missy Todd and the cheerleaders, Let me get this correct now. CHS football cheerleaders competition team. Everybody have a good evening. We're out of here.